afternoon! Welcome to Aral Tarlacenyo here on RTV Tarlac, Channel 26. Simulcast over DCTC Radyo Pilipino Tarlac. I am Bernadette S. Tayag, your teacher broadcaster for Mathematics Grade 9. Today is February 2, and we are now on the 5th week of our second quarter. I hope you are all well. Are you ready for our next lesson? Get your copy of Math 9 self-learning modules, pen, and paper with you. For those who are using their compendium notes, you can still listen and take down important concepts about the lesson since the competencies and topics are the same. Good luck and enjoy listening. In the previous lesson, you have learned how to write expressions with rational exponents into radicals and vice versa. This lesson will help you understand how radicals exist and how it is being simplified. As you go through this lesson, you will learn how to, number 1, derive the laws of radicals, and number 2, apply the laws of exponent to support such laws of radicals. Before we begin, let us first recall the basic concepts of radicals and its important parts. The symbol, the nth root of a raised to m, is called radical. A radical expression or a radical is an expression containing the symbol called radical sign. In the symbol, the nth root of a raised to m, n is called the index or order, which indicates the degree of the radical, such as square root, cube root, and fourth root. A raised to m is called the radicand, which is a number or expression inside the radical symbol, and m is the power or exponent of the radicand. Let us look at activity number 1. In this activity, you will be able to recall how to write an expression with rational exponents to radicals and vice versa. This activity will help you attain mastery of your previous lessons. The first items in each test serves as examples. For the first part, we have exponential to radical. We have the expression, the quantity of x times y raised to 1/2. Rewriting the expression in radical form, we have the square root of xy. Now, it's your turn to answer item number 6. What is the radical form of 24 raised to 2/3? I repeat, what is the radical form of 24 raised to 2/3? What did you get? Okay, the correct answer is, or the radical form of 24 raised to 2/3 is the cube root of 24 squared. Did you get it correctly? Very good. For the next part, we have radical to exponential form. We have the example, the square root of 5x. Rewriting the expression to exponential form, we have quantity of 5x raised to 1/2. Now, try to answer item number 4. What is the exponential form of the 4th root of b cubed? I repeat, what is the exponential form of the 4th root of b cubed? What is your answer? The answer is b raised to 3 over 4. Good job! You can answer the remaining items for your practice. Meanwhile, we will proceed to our lesson. Now, let us begin with our new lesson for today. Open your self-learning modules on Lesson 6, the laws of radicals. Your goal in this section is to understand how laws of exponents are used as basis to solve radical expressions. We will recall the laws of exponents as follows. Number 1 is the product rule, which is x raised to m times x raised to n is equal to x raised to m plus n. Again, product rule is x raised to m times x raised to n is equal to x raised to m plus n. Number 2 is the power of power rule, which is the quantity of x raised to m raised to n is equal to x raised to m times n. Again, the power of a power rule is the quantity of x raised to m raised to n is equal to x raised to m times n. Number 3 is the power of a product rule, which is the quantity of x times y raised to n is equal to x raised to n times y raised to n. Again, the power of a product rule is the quantity of x times y raised to n is equal to x raised to n times y raised to n. And last, number 4 is the power of a fraction rule, which is the quantity of x over y raised to n is equal to x raised to n over y raised to n. Again, number 4 is the power of a fraction rule, which is the quantity of x over y raised to n is equal to x raised to n over y raised to n. We will be using these laws of exponents to derive the laws of radicals. Let us look at the first illustrative example. The following is a radical expression. We will identify what law of exponent is being used to simplify it. Illustrative example number 1. Solve for the cube root of 7 cube. Again, solve for the cube root of 7 cube. Here is the detailed solution. The cube root of 7 cube is equal to the quantity of 7 raised to 1/3 raised to 3. When we write it in exponential form. Applying the laws of exponent, which is the quantity of x raised to m raised to n is equal to x raised to m times n, or the power of a power rule, we have the expression 7 raised to 3 over 3. Simplifying the expression, we have 7 raised to 1 or 7. Let us answer some of the items on your SLMs. Item number 1. Solve for the cube root of 3 squared. Again, solve for the cube root of, solve for the square root of 3 squared. What is your answer? The answer is 3. Did you get the correct answer? That's good. What law of exponent did we use? The power of a power rule. Let's have another item. Solve for the cube root of 40 over 5. I repeat, solve for the cube root of 40 over 5. What is your answer? The correct answer is 2. Simplifying 40 over 5 will give us 8. So the expression will be the cube root of 8 is equal to the cube root of 2 cube. Rewriting the radical expression, the cube root of 2 cube into exponential form, we have 2 raised to 3 over 3 or 2 raised to 1, or the answer is 2. I hope you got the correct answer. You can try to solve the other items later for your practice. Let us move on to activity number 2, Try and Learn, on Lesson 6. You will answer this activity to further explore your key concepts and the relationship between the laws of exponents to the laws of radicals. Write the following radical expressions to exponential and simplify. Then indicate what law of exponent is used to support such solutions. We will answer some of the items. Number 1. Simplify the quantity of square root of 5 raised to 2. I repeat, simplify the quantity of square root of 5 raised to 2. What is your answer? Very good. The answer is 5. What law of exponent did we use? Correct. The power of a power rule. I hope you got the correct answer. Next, we have square root of A times the square root of B. I repeat, simplify square root of A times the square root of B. The correct answer is the square root of A times B. What law of exponent did we use? We used the power of a product rule. Next is we have the nth root of A divided by the nth root of B when simplified will be, I repeat, the nth root of A divided by the nth root of B when simplified will be What is your answer? The correct answer is the nth root of A over B. Very good. What law of exponent did we use this time? Correct. We used the power of a fraction rule. Very good. We will now move on to the discussion of the concepts on radicals. From the previous activity, how did you relate the loss of exponent to radicals? For instance, if you simplify the square root of A squared, that will be equal to the quantity of A raised to 1/2 raised to 2 is equal to A raised to 2 over 2 or A. Similarly, the nth root of A raised to n is equal to the quantity of A raised to 1 over n raised to n is equal to A raised to n over n, or that is A. By applying the law of exponent, quantity of x raised to m raised to n is equal to x raised to m times n. So in general, if we have the quantity of the nth root of A raised to n, that is equal to A. We consider this as the first law of radical. Again, the first law of radical is the quantity of the nth root of A raised to n is equal to A. An example is the cube root of 6, quantity raised to 3. When we simplify it, the answer will be 6. Next, if we have the nth root of A times the nth root of B, this is equal to A raised to 1 over n times B raised to 1 over n. Applying the law of exponent, which is the quantity of x times y raised to n is equal to x raised to n times y raised to n, we can write A raised to 1 over n times B raised to 1 over n as the quantity of A times B raised to 1 over n. Hence, the nth root of A times the nth root of B is equal to the nth root of A times B. This is the second law of radical. Again, the second law of radical is the nth root of A times the nth root of B is equal to the nth root of A times B. An example is the fourth root of 2 times the fourth root of 3 is equal to the fourth root of 6. That is again applying the second law of radical. Another point to consider is the expression the nth root of A divided by the nth root of B is equal to A raised to 1 over n divided by B raised to 1 over n. Applying the law of exponent, which is the quantity of x over y raised to n is equal to x raised to n divided by y raised to n. We can rewrite a raised to 1 over n divided by b raised to 1 over n as the quantity of a over b raised to 1 over n. Hence, the quantity of a raised to b 1 over n is equal to the nth root of a over b. Therefore, the nth root of a divided by the nth root of b is equal to the nth root of a over b. This is the third law of radical. I repeat, the third law of radical is the nth root of a divided by the nth root of b is equal to the nth root of a over b. An example is the cube root of 4 divided by the cube root of 2 is equal to the cube root of 4 over 2, or that is equal to the cube root of 2. Lastly, the radical, the mth root of the nth root of a when simplified is this. The mth root of the nth root of a is equal to the quantity of the nth root of a raised to 1 over n raised to 1 over m is equal to a raised to 1 over m times n. By the law of exponent, the quantity of x raised to m raised to n is equal to x raised to m. Since a raised to 1 over n is equal to the mth root of a, therefore, the mth root of the nth root of a is equal to the mth root of a. This is the last law of radical. Again, the mth root of a and the mth root of the nth root of a is equal to the mnth root of a, and that is the last law of radical. Here is an example. The cube root of the fourth root of 5 is equal to the 12th root of 5 when simplified. To our grade 9 students, I admire you for being good listeners. Now, let's have a recap of today's lesson. To summarize the laws of radicals, okay, we have number 1, the nth root of a raised to n is equal to a, and okay, that's all for today, guys. So, thank you for listening. Make sure you are always tuned in here at DCTC 828 AM every Mondays and Wednesdays, same time for another exciting Mathematics 9 lessons. Watch us live on Facebook, like and share our Facebook page, RTV Tarlac Channel 26. I hope you learned a lot today. I am Bernadette S. Tayag, your Math 9 anchor teacher for today. Until next time, God bless.